All right, and here we are. We are live right now, right after All Elite Wrestling AEW Dynamite has gone off the air, ladies and gentlemen. What a show. What a debut for AEW Dynamite in Canada. Hello, it is Wednesday night, and you know what that means. It was AEW Dynamite, and this right here is Ringside Heat and our Ringside Heat post-show reaction to AEW's premiere episode of Dynamite here in Toronto at the Coca-Cola Coliseum, formerly known as the Rico Coliseum, formerly known as the CNE Coliseum. Whatever it is a great night here in Toronto right now, especially for all the AEW fans who came down and supported the product and supported live professional wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lex Chan. I don't even know my name anymore. And that's because of that ending. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lex Tan, and I am the host and producer of Ringside Heat on Newstalk Saga 960 and on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and Spreaker.com. We are hosted by Spreaker.com. Thanks to Saga 960 AM being so gracious in giving us a time slot to talk wrestling and to give us an online presence with our Spotify and with all of the podcatchers that we're on right now. Thank you so much to Saga 960 for having us. And we want to do well by you. We want to do good by you by giving you the best product that we can give you. And that's what and you know what? AEW Dynamite. I've been, and I can tell you right now, I have been very critical of AEW over the past few weeks, especially after this whole CM Punk versus the Elite situation and all the backstage shenanigans that have been happening. Sammy Guevara and Andrade El Idolo, all of that is I seriously like. I have been very, very critical of Tony Khan, the way he runs the company, and you know those issues will be there. But right now, I guess right now it is a time to celebrate professional wrestling. It is a time to celebrate sports entertainment, however you want to call it. It is time to celebrate the fact that this is the first major promotion. And this, the first to promote in a major arena in Toronto since well, I mean, for at least a good 20 years or so, because WCW last was here like maybe 2000, I believe. 2000 was the last time that WCW was able to promote in Toronto, and I don't know if I don't, and it didn't happen at the Air Canada Center. I think it might have even happened at Maple Leaf Gardens. So if that is the case, don't quote me on that right now. But I am going to go and find out the last time a non-WWE major wrestling company, aka WCW, promoted a wrestling show in Toronto. So let's find WCW Toronto dates. All right. Let's see. So it's giving wow. WCW Experience Expo. It's yeah, something about visionaries or something like that. But World Championship Wrestling. See, June 1990, Pro Wrestling Wiki. Yep. Okay, so here we go. Let's see, events. 2016, it has up to 2022, 1990. Pro Wrestling Fandom says that, let's see, Raw 97, March 29, 1999 was Nitro, and that was literally, seriously, it was March 29, 1999. March 29, 1999 was the last time a wrestling show that WWE did not promote, at least in a major wrestling company like WCW, was here in Toronto. And it's October the 12th, 2022. It's been 23 years since since Turner Broadcasting televised wrestling from Toronto. And I believe that took place. It said here it was held at the Air Canada Center. So And it was, in fact, the last Nitro, WCW Monday Nitro, March 29, 1999, was the final Nitro to carry the old WCW and old Nitro branding. So the red WCW Monday Nitro and TNT logo, and it switched the next week to the final WCW Nitro logo. And it is I guess a historic day, not just for AEW, but also for professional wrestling and for sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it, here in the city of Toronto, which is one of the biggest wrestling towns. In one of the, and Tony Khan, even on Busted Open earlier today, he acknowledged that Toronto is one of the best ever cities for professional wrestling in all of the world. It's not just North America. It's not just Canada. It's not just within the continental United States. It's all over the world. We are one of the best. And I have to say, Tony Khan did give us what we wanted. Tony Khan did give what we wanted. So so kudos to Tony Khan, and kudos to him for establishing that and wanting to make that make good for Toronto on their first show here. And that's the thing. Toronto fans, they can be tough to please sometimes, as WWE knows quite well. I mean, no, they're not tough. We're not tough to please. Okay, we aren't, as wrestling fans, tough to please. We are tough to book for sometimes, because we like to cheer for the Canadians. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if it was. We cheer for Canadians. We cheer for our favorites. For instance, back WrestleMania 18, 2002. Rock was the overwhelming face. Rock was the overwhelming face in the feud leading up to his Icon versus Icon match versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan. And well, Rock, let's just say, if you don't know the end of that story over there, it's one of the things that fueled Rock's Hollywood Rock persona, because as he says, Toronto was the first ones. Toronto was the first to boo the Rock, so we were the first to lose our sing-along privileges. If you smell what the Rock is, well, he he interrupted us and everything. It was a beautiful promo. I can't believe that was 19 years ago, almost 19 years ago. Next year, February, it's going to be 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I was 20 years younger the last time I saw The Rock. And the Rock himself, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, superstar in WWE, superstar of professional wrestling, one of the greatest wrestlers of all freaking time, is in Toronto for a sneak preview of Black Adam here in our fine city at the Rec Room. I unfortunately did not win the contest. Ringside Heat did not win the contest to attend the sneak preview with Dwayne himself. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to have some time to get down to the Rec Room, get some live audio from people around, and hopefully if it's early enough and Rock comes around and goes into the Rec Room with all of the thousands in attendance and the millions and millions watching around the world. And the select few that is able to get into the Rec Room to watch that movie with The Rock himself. Kudos to anybody who is on and is watching with The Rock tomorrow, because that's a dream come true. I would rather first meet up with Triple H, get my job with WWE as an announcer, and get on the show and get on the show. Basically the way basically I want to be working for Triple H before I meet The Rock. So who knows what that is going to be like. But you know what, we're gonna bring in somebody onto the stream right over here. And thank you so much for watching the stream so far, whether you're watching it live or whether you're watching it on demand on any of our streams right now, from Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and on Twitch. Let's add into the stream Colin Dodge, and he says, and there he is. Colin, I wish I was there, Dodge. And you know what? I wish I was there too. Colin from Nova Scotia, from Cape Breton Island. Welcome to the Ringside Heat post Dynamite reaction review show here on all of our social media channels.
Testing. Am I live?
Yes, you are. You are live. And I thought you were going to go testing 1, 2, 3. Get that Scarborough right in there with the bare naked ladies,
Yes, but then I'd be hacking for the next 5 minutes, and that's not going to be much of a review. So yeah, I can't hit that. Can't hit that note.
Hey, you know what? I mean, like, you know what? Didn't you still? Hey, karaoke. Anybody can sing karaoke.
Well, then I would need to be in a karaoke bar with at least three in me already. So
Ah,
but
okay.
yeah,
Cool, cool,
yeah.
cool. So yeah, so first of all, first of all, before we get in the show, how is I mean, like, you and your family have been mostly, safe from the after effects of Hurricane Fiona. Just wanted to get an update and see how you were doing, and how the rest, how your surroundings are doing right now.
Well, for me, I have had solid internet for like a week now,
Oh,
so
good,
that's
good, good, good,
fine.
good.
I was extremely fortunate. I didn't even lose power during the whole thing. So
Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah.
I was in one of those very fortunate pockets where I did well. And like any hurricane, tornado, it'll take this house, it'll take that house, but that one right in the middle is fine. So my little town was the town right in the middle, and we were pretty much fine. So I'm not, so I'm very grateful for that. At the height of it, yeah, there was about 500,000 people without power in Nova Scotia. There are still, the last I heard earlier this week, it might have still been somewhere around 9,000, which of course is much lower than 500,000. But the
Mm-hmm.
tricky part is the people that are still out, they're in really smaller, like very rural kind of things. So where a lot of the time, if you're on a major grid, you fix the grid. That's like 500 people fixed in one shot. So it's these little one shots, people. But I can't imagine. I don't know for sure, but I can't imagine there's too many left. Like all the major city centers and major towns, I'm pretty sure we're all back.
Oh, good,
Um,
good, good, good.
yeah. So I think harder hit still was probably Newfoundland and PEI. And Newfoundland just had a hurricane about a couple weeks before Fiona came rolling through anyway. So Newfoundland's been having a tough summer for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But
Definitely.
but yeah, I like I say, I made it out very lucky, as did my family out here. So very grateful for that, and all the help and all the workers from all the other provinces that came in to help. Much gratitude, and as soon as it was safe to do so, everybody in Nova Scotia Power was boots on the ground, getting everything fixed as safely and as quickly as they could. So
Awesome. Thank you. Hey, you know what? I thought everything is. I'm glad everything is getting better over there, and quality of life it will be, uh, you know, a lot better by the time by the time the winter really does roll around.
for sure, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. There's tough stock out here. I've been out here just about 8 years now. So, and my grandparents are from Glace Bay. So, there's Nova Scotia's in the genes anyway. So we're fine.
That's cool. That's cool. So thank you and again, thank you so much for being here and so willing and so willing to give your thoughts about the Dynamite that you wish you were here for, and honestly, I wish I was there for as well. I don't have the money to do so.
That's the cruelty of our little group. I wanted to be there the most, and I'm in another province. So, that's life for you.
That's
But
true.
yeah. But it was great. I know the major concern or major discussion point on our last show was, Johnny with his head in the clouds as usual, going on about how it's just going to be Toronto AEW fans. I specified that for him before he alienated everyone. We're just going to do what AEW tells them to do. Well, Sheeta got major chance. From what I saw, FTR got pop of the night. And Brian Danielson, whatever the hell his name is, there's so many repeat names. Not the annoying, vanilla Daniel Garcia, the other Daniel.
Ah,
And
yes, yes, yes.
he got booed out of the building because guess what? You're facing Jericho in Toronto. What else is supposed to happen?
Of course. I mean, like, and that's the thing. It's like, when you put yourself up against the Canadian, which is the smart thing to do.
Yep.
When Luchasaurus and Jack Perry went and wrestled, and Christian was just on the microphone, basically.
Exactly.
Like they didn't have Christian wrestle, and he didn't need to wrestle anyway. It's just having having him there, having them there so they can at least, focus on the match between Jack Perry and Luchasaurus without having it without having a Toronto, bizarro turn.
Yep, and of course Christian had to do a Maple Leafs joke in order to pull heat in Toronto, but he did it successfully, and he was booed quite vehemently. And if Renee was a better kept secret, she probably would have had Pop of the Night. But what can you do? It's the internet. Nothing is sacred.
That's true. But here's the thing. I honestly thought, here's the thing. Hear me out. I honestly thought the Pop of the Night went to Orange Cassidy.
Yeah. I think eventually, as the match went on and as the match ended, I'll give him that. But I was just looking at coming out to the crowd. I don't know if maybe it felt like a long night because, I mean, the whole crowd was pretty much on during the whole show.
Right.
And so maybe by then, I don't know. But like the pop for FTR was pretty good. I know the music has a lot to do with that. It's a fantastic entrance. But yeah, from my view anyway, on television, it was, FTR still, even Sean Spears, I know it helps he's in Canada, of course, but Sean Spears got a really good pop.
Yep.
Yeah, it still holds FTR. And during the match, we love Joe. Toronto loves Joe. And of course, we should.
Yep.
Samoa Joe just got huge reaction during the match. So, yeah. I mean, it was pretty good. But, quite through Toronto making its own decisions. Judas did not play for Jericho's entrance. So about a quarter way through the match, Toronto just started singing it on their own.
Oh, so, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Now, did you figure out what Rob Zombie song it was that he used? It sounded like "Never Gonna Stop," but not quite right.
No, it wasn't. I did not. It was definitely not "Never Gonna Stop."
Okay.
Because I wouldn't have remembered that. I mean, I really liked Edge in that iteration, but then like when he did the Rob Zombie thing. But yeah, obviously when Metalingus came around, it was just like, okay, goodbye Rob Zombie, I'm good without you. Right?
Yeah, so I'm not sure what Rob Zombie song Jericho used, but because at first I thought, is this like a really old Lionheart entrance? And I thought, no, wait a minute, no, that's Rob Zombie singing. So I was trying to figure it out. But, yeah.
Right. But and that's the thing. It's like it's like you deny the crowd your the chance to sing Judas, obviously, and that's the one thing I love about Toronto, and that's what Tony Khan even said on Busted Open earlier this morning. One thing he loves about Toronto is that Toronto is just they know what they like. They know Toronto wrestling fans is like that confident person who doesn't take no crap from anybody, and if that's what they like, that's what they like. Toronto is not just is what they call, is what some people would say is a high value, is a high value environment, a high value crowd, and they showed it tonight. That's the one thing, they showed it tonight, and at the same time, good on AEW for giving Toronto what they wanted to.
Oh, for sure. I mean, yes, it was completely stat card. There was Canadians everywhere, in almost every segment, pretty much. And that's what you do when you go to a city, not especially a new city, and the first time out of the U.S. So why wouldn't you do that? That's just called pandering to your audience, but you're a business that survives on audience. So yeah, that all of that makes complete sense. Shoot, I had another point and it's gone. It's completely gone.
Let's run down. Let's run down the things sequentially from what we saw. So off the top, as you mentioned, Renee Paquette was revealed as returning to the broadcast to the wrestling broadcasting world as part of the AEW announce team. Of course, this is her hometown. This is where she hosted WWE Aftermath on Sportsnet 360, and alongside Nug, alongside our good friend Jimmy Corderas, alongside and I think Jackie Redmond eventually had like Santino Morello with her too, but like it's
Santino always pops up somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. but like she really is our girl. Like both Jackie Redmond and Renee Paquette are our girls, our women that are are one of us, and they made it, and it's like
and just like Trish Stratus before them.
Yeah,
started out in broadcasting and went to the bottom. Now she's here.
Yeah, exactly.
Start at the bottom, sir.
There you go. Got to get that Drake.
I'll leave now. How many more Canadian references can we do?
And you know what, and I'm so very, very sure that it has been a constant craving for Renee Paquette to be back on wrestling TV and to be able to do the job that she loves, that she got brought into this higher world of this greater universe of professional wrestling. It was, and yeah, it's great to see her. It's great to know that she wanted to come home here to Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, she wanted to come back. She's carved out her own little fan base. Whether it's we've just had to have her podcast, which was still great, either watching or listening to it. Mm-hmm. I always really enjoyed her interview style, even when she was doing shows on the network. I forget what that particular one was called, but it was really great, like almost casual. We're sitting on a bench chatting, but that was the interview style, so it was nice that it wasn't just very obvious hitting beat after beat after beat of what you're supposed to get across, right? Mm-hmm. So she's very natural way of bringing that out of her guests, just to have an actual conversation, even though it's still pertaining to everything we're interested in. So I was always glad for that. She did great on the announced team. I always liked her on there. I thought she did great. It can't be easy. I know Mick Foley couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
Because he had Heyman and Vince to deal with. So talk about trial by fire.
Well, unfortunately for fellow Canadian Adnan Virk, love the guy, but he couldn't handle it either.
Oh, boy. Wrong reference. Poor Adnan.
Hey, you know what? He's got 5 other jobs or 6 other jobs as well that he was doing at the time. I think he's going to be okay.
As any Canadian broadcasting person does, they have at least 4 to 8 jobs.
Hey, case in point right over here. Traffic, Ringside Heat, etc. Such as musician, actor. What the heck am I? What the heck? What do I even have time to do this right now?
I mean, you're in Toronto and you show up on my Halifax news radio station. So I mean,
hey, yep, CJ and I.
There you go.
CJ and I, News 95.7.
Yep. So. Yeah, I mean, it's great to have her there. So it looks like it's mainly just going to be backstage interviews, at least that she's starting off with. So who knows if she'll end up doing more, especially for things like AEW Plus that hopefully one day will be available in Canada through the Fight Network. Who knows? I've tweeted Tony Khan. He didn't answer me yet. I'm so shocked. I know he has tons of time.
Oh, don't worry, man. But don't worry. And this is a message for the listeners as well, too. Remember to tune in to our season premiere, October the 23rd. That is a Sunday at 6 p.m. on News Talk Saga 960. We are unveiling, we are revealing, and we are going to be giving you a new, revamped Ringside Heat with and a lot of surprises and a lot of grittier topics and a lot of the good meat that you guys the meat of the bones of professional wrestling that you want to chew on. And we are going to be come next year, come 2 years from now, Tony Khan will be answering our tweets.
There we go. Surprises I don't even know about. You don't tell me anything. You're just like, hey man, we're going live. I'm like, yes, sir. Right away, sir. Can I make a cup of tea first? No, get on there.
Hey man, work in progress. That's all it is, man. And you know what? Before we take to the airwaves on Saturday night, we do our weekly record. I will be filling you in on all that's going to be happening for us starting on October the 23rd on News Talk Saga 960 AM, and it's going to be great. You are listening and watching right now to the Ringside Heat post AEW Dynamite reaction and review podcast here on all of our social media channels on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and Twitch, and also my own personal social media channels as well. So let's move on to the first match of the night. They started off as we were kind of talking about earlier, Luchasaurus versus Jack Perry. I thought this was actually a real good match, and I think this is the strongest that I've seen Luchasaurus as a wrestler at this point. But I'm not sure I understood the ending too much because I was I was distracted for a bit. So can you tell me about what you thought about that match?
I really enjoyed it. It was good, and I don't know, maybe if it kind of got lost being the first match out. I was having trouble just. Well, my main problem was I was just watching the crowd almost as much as anything else because I'm like, come on, Toronto, represent AEW Toronto. Let's show Johnny he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, right? So I'm like, come on, don't let me down. Johnny must be wrong sometimes. And they did great. So I'm sure I'll argue with him about that on the weekend, and we'll hear it all. But we'll see. So I was watching them but I think it's talk about meat on the bone. I think it's the most meat on the bone kind of storyline that Luchasaurus has probably ever been in, and so I think he's really relishing that. And of course, why not with somebody who's been traveling and wrestling with forever? So that's really good. So I think if done properly and keep having matches like this, because this rivalry is going to go on for a while, there's got to be a belt involved at some point of some kind. Like it's just going to get better, and I think they're both going to get elevated from it, not just a vehicle for Jungle Boy to get elevated. I think there's a good chance Luchasaurus will get elevated as well. So maybe he can start going after a TNT championship after this, go after Wardlow. So something like that.
Now tell me about the ending. I looked away for a bit, and it looked like that Luchasaurus actually got the clean win on Jack, but then like I missed the moment before that. So can you tell me about that?
So did I. I was doing something else. I think I was on. I was in our messenger feed as well. So
yes,
I missed that part. So I'll be watching this episode a couple more times just to try to pick up all the other things. Ignore the crowd for one viewing, and then actually watch everything because I was trying to read signs. I'm like, okay, I've been in that building a bunch of times, so let's see what section is there, and it's. What the hell's a Coca-Cola Coliseum, But I'm like, okay, so what's this? I know what it was called before.
But you know what's actually consistent about all the times that you've been there and the show that took place today? Do you know what is the consistent thing?
What's that?
Overpriced pizza and beer.
Oh yeah, well, see, this is why you have a drink and some dinner before you go to the event. That's trick my friends and I have been doing for years. So.
Man, I didn't do that when I went to WWE Roadblock with Chico back in 2018, I think when it was John Moxley, Dean Ambrose versus Triple H for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and it literally looked that day that literally looked like that Mox almost Mox got the win. It looked like Mox got the win against Triple H, and like the buzz in the arena we thought somebody screwed up the finish. Anyway, anyway, like I bought. I'm embarrassed to say that I bought 2 slices of pizza and a pop that day, and that took a huge wad out of my wallet. When I probably should have, I probably could have spent $10. I probably could have spent $10 plus $1 for a pop over at my local pizza place, and I would have been totally filled for half the price.
Yeah, under 10 would have got you a shot and a burger, and then you go for another shot after the show, and you go home happy. Yeah.
Hey, if WWE doesn't send their fans home happy, then at least we will. With the nice Jack Dagnos. So anyway.
You mean Daniel Jackson?
Oh no, I don't know if we can say the name Jackson on AEW TV things at the moment right now.
Oh, well, it's not any kind of elevated foot party, so it should be fine. So,
Oh,
yeah.
touche.
This is me at bedtime, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go.
All right, and I think we're doing a post Dynamite review right now on
Maybe
on
I
our
don't know.
Ringside Heat stuff. Anyway,
We talked about one match, and now we're off the rails immediately. So.
It's hey, and you're listening to Ringside Heat on this Wednesday night, this historic night I was mentioning before Colin came on. The last time a non WWE event or at least the last time Turner Broadcasting. The last time Turner Broadcasting televised professional wrestling, sports entertainment from Toronto was March 29, 1999, Monday Nitro at the Air Canada Centre, Scotiabank Arena. And that was the last episode of Nitro that used the old WCW Monday Nitro logo, and it went into that like that look, the thing that made it look like it was supposed to be cool.
So, that explains a lot of WCW, but yeah, in the late 90s, supposed to be.
But yeah. So it's been 20. Let's see, 23 years. It's been 23 years since Turner televised. A Turner company has televised professional wrestling from Toronto.
Well, I don't recall that episode of Nitro expressly, but I would imagine tonight's episode of Dynamite was a lot better.
Oh, I'm sure it was. Let's see. Let's look back. Let's go look back at the archives and see what the heck happened on Nitro that night. Let's see.
80 NWO wrestlers came to the ring, hung around for an hour, and then left. Jericho entertained everybody during the commercial break.
Yep.
And Rey Mysterio got tossed around like a lawn dart for a while. And then Hogan said something. Spray paint. A survey was taken. And then it cut early because, that's what Turner does. They don't know how to end shows.
And you know what? You're correct. All right.
Yes.
So yeah, that night Conan defeated Vincent, whoever the heck that guy was.
Vincent, Virgil.
Oh, Virgil. Okay.
Yeah, come on.
Wrath defeated Kenny Chaos.
I don't know who either of those two are. Okay.
Rick Steiner defeated Scott Norton.
Sure. Scott Norton had something to do that day. Good for him.
Yep. Booker T retained the WCW television title against Chris Adams.
Okay, yeah, go Booker.
Chris Jericho defeated Jerry Flynn.
Okay, that would have been good though. Yeah,
4 minutes and 35 seconds. It was a really quick match.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so never mind.
No, not even those two. They got it. Yeah, you got to give them a little time.
Buff Bagwell defeated Norman Smiley.
Wow, Norman Smiley on. Okay. I mean, hey, I know he's a great guy, but wow, okay. Was Nitro 3 hours at that point?
It does not say.
It doesn't say? Okay.
It doesn't say, but looking at the times of these matches, I'm pretty sure this was still 2 hours. It was 2 hour Nitro because they didn't get into long there. There was only two matches over 10 minutes, and one of them was the WCW World Tag Team Title match. Billy Kidman and Rey Mysterio defeating defeating Dean Malenko and the He Who Shall Not Be Named and winning the tag team titles. So Kidman and Rey Mysterio won the tag team titles there.
Nice.
And the main event of the night was Hollywood Hogan defeating Diamond Dallas Page with Ric Flair by his side. So
interesting. So don't forget, you have to give time for Hogan to do air guitar and walk around. So
true.
Yeah.
All right, so that was a nice little trip down memory lane. Let's go back to a
show neither of us watched.
Yep, 1999 called, and they said they're sick and tired of us, so we gotta go join back everybody in 2022.
I don't want to be 18 again. Let's go.
All right, so as we mentioned as well too, FTR comes back, brings back the Perfect 10, Sean Spears, and it's
biggest pop of the night I still say FTR. That was huge.
Mm-hmm. and it's great to see Sean Spears again. Congratulations to him and Cassie. And I believe are they parents now, or is Cassie like still got is Cassie ready to become a mom soon?
I not sure. I don't go into the daily lives all that much.
I,
I'm like, yeah.
Either way, congratulations, Cassie and and Sean.
Sorry, Cassie and Sean. I'm glad you're well.
All right, and so it was, and so it was Daddy Ass versus Swerve Strickland. I admit I was on the road. I was driving. I was driving when this was happening, but of course I had to stop over and watch Toronto's reaction to to one of the original members of D-Generation X, who actually gave him a nice little shout out on Monday Night Raw to end the show.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I still have zero interest in the Acclaimed. I'm slightly paying attention because I mean, yeah, it's Billy Gunn. Everybody loves Bob, so
But his name's Billy.
Yeah, whatever.
And I guess it doesn't matter what his name is. And Dave, those names don't matter. What name matters today is Daddy Ass.
There you go. Sure. Yeah, you said that on the internet, okay? And so it does not matter to me whatever the Acclaim do. I'm glad Toronto apparently was having a lot of fun with it, so good for them. Many attempted crotch chops didn't get through, but Swerve tried, and I'm not sure what he was doing. He's trying to land a plane into his knee, as far as I could tell. So I don't think he knew what it was. So I mean, that's fair. Not everybody knows DX, but that's fine.
But I will give I will give the what's the name of the rapper on the Acclaimed again? But I know you don't care. But anyway,
I don't know. I honestly don't know their names.
Either way, he got a few got a few Canadian themed jabs in there. I'm not going to talk about the Justin Trudeau jab because that'll get me canceled. But then he did end it off with a call out to Austin Matthews, which obviously everybody loves Austin Matthews.
Of course,
yeah, yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Toronto, I'm sure. Toronto loves everything Austin, whether it be Stone Cold Steve Austin, whether it be Austin Matthews, whether it be Austin Theory. We love them all.
Really, Austin Theory?
Well, eventually we will. Anyway,
didn't he retire and get kicked off WWE TV? I haven't seen him in a while. Oh wait, that's right. I stopped watching the show entirely. Never mind. That's right.
And then, but the next, but where it really started to pick up for me was MJF and Alex Marvez, and okay, Alex Marvez, great, whatever like that. But obviously he's not the important one. It's MJF, and I love some of the lines that he did that he delivered. He is phenomenal on the microphone, and he is a talented wrestler. But I love what he said. When I walk through the curtain, I don't like me either, but that's what I have to do to become the champion. And I'm just
an interesting little minor new direction for his gimmick, his character, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. Like, he's annoyed with the Firm that they got to workshop these faction names. I know there's a million factions, but still you got to do a couple more passes on it. But anyway, so he's mad at the Firm for kind of getting in his way when he's not asking them to. So that's interesting. Where before with the Pinnacle, he couldn't get enough of being surrounded and shielded by all of them, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Notice I said shield because why not?
It's
a buzzword. And
Sierra Hotel, India, Echo, Lambda, Delta.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah.
Was Lambda? Anyway, enough sidetracking. So it's a good kind of new direction, and it shows where it's kind of he's ready to be champion now, kind of thing. Like, this is our steps that he's doing, and it slightly reminded me of Austin Rock WrestleMania 17, where he's like, I will do whatever I need to do to become champion. So it was kind of that starting to be that little level of not necessarily I mean, yeah, well, for Austin's case, it was desperation at that point. Like, he's got to be champion. That's it. Otherwise, why is he getting up in the morning going to work, right? So he has to be champion. So, um, yeah, I'm not sure where I was going with that, but it's that kind of new kind of sidestep to the gimmick. It's interesting. I like it. So I don't know. Maybe there's this change now. I don't know if they'll work it in, but now that he's engaged, I think, right? That came across my Twitter feed. So sorry, Sean, none of the thing about your home life came across my Twitter feed. So I don't know, but the MJF one did. So I'm sorry. Yeah, so it's interesting. So I'm like, okay, good, because it's, you don't want to, even though he's awesome at it, if that's the only thing he's doing forever, even that will get stale at some point. So it's this nice little side shift, and it still works. But I'm like, oh, okay, wait a minute, no, I still really have to pay close attention to him. So it's good.
And I like how that was the segment that aired right before Mox and Adam Page had their little had their little thing, and I have been critical of AEW and some of their and some of the ways they run their shows, and you know, the backstage stuff. You know this, and the people.
Me too. I'm right there with you. Yeah.
And the people who are listening right now, you know that I am critical that as much as I enjoy AEW, I also am critical of them. Just like WWE, I can also be very, very critical of WWE and what they do and how they go about things. And as we should be, as good wrestling fans, as good engaged wrestling fans. It means that we care about the product. It means we want to see the product get better and everything. But what I really liked about this is that, like, it all interwove together, because here comes Mox coming up, and he describes about what being a champion is like, because he has been a champion, and which MJF has not been a world champion yet. And he says that Moxley said, being the champion is not easy. It requires you to be ruthless and indiscriminate.
Yeah.
And it's I mean, like, because you got the target on your back all the time, and then here comes Adam Page coming on down to the ring, and he's like throwing and starting to throw respect his way. But then I started to I am very, very critical of Adam Page myself, and I will give him this. He started to show me a little bit more, a little bit more of his character, a little bit more of his motivation, and I'm appreciative of that. But again, you know what? He did that literally days before he's gonna be going up against the champion in a championship match, like he did with CM Punk. Why couldn't you bring this again? Why couldn't you bring this fire in you? Why couldn't you do this 2-3 weeks ago? Why couldn't you have done it last week and give us some more time to, like, digest it and to see where you're at? Because you know what, there's that part of me that, like, actually wants to like Adam Page, because, you know, he is I would say he is also kind of like the underdog champion. He's not he doesn't it's like, yeah, he's kind of that underdog champion. He's great in the ring, but he also has his deficiencies, which a lot of the other champions that have come before him, character-wise, overtake everything, overtake him. And I think that's what and I think that's the reason why I still feel like, you know, he kind of disappoints me sometimes.
Well, the thing with him, I've said it from the beginning now, I didn't know him before AEW, like, you know, 90% of their roster, or at least 90% of the roster that's not former WWE. So I've only known his last 3 years. The promo he did tonight was the best one I've ever seen him give.
Yes,
so
I would say I'll give him that.
It was better than when he was at the height with him and Kenny. And before tonight, the one with Kenny was the best one, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, like I've always said, he does great matches. He's great to watch. He's terrible to listen to. So, and I think he might, at least I think he is now, hopefully he can break out of it. He's perpetually only good at chasing the belt. Because then what do you do now that he's got it?
Right.
And we saw that with his championship reign. And the whole I will do everything I can to win doesn't work when he already has the belt. So I don't know now, so I'm identifying a problem and I don't have a solution, unfortunately. But so it's just what is the one extra step he needs to do where we want to see him stay as champion?
Mm-hmm.
So, because, the Oshucks try as hard as he can, Cowboy, it's great chasing, but, no Western ends well. No good Western ends well. So, I'm just saying.
Hey! What's his face? Clint Eastwood from Back to the Future 3. I mean, hey, they named the ravine after him because he went out in a blaze of glory, like a good Western.
Yeah, Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2, like incredible games, not happy endings.
Oh my god, the endings of the endings of
both of them.
those games. Oh my god, the
spoilers. Sorry if you haven't played yet, but that's your own fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had me screwed up for days. Yes. Anyway,
it's jacked up. Both of them.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway, but okay. So this is what I'll get. Okay. So what so for Adam Page and like and this is and now I'm seeing how I actually care about Adam Page because yes, as you said, he cuts the biggest promo of his life, and I love the line. Referring to the championship, the thing I should have never let slip away.
Yes,
that was impressive. That was impressive
that stuck out to me as well. I thought, yes, that's exactly what happened. Again, with another promo of his life days before him losing to Punk. So
yeah. And then
Page was right, apparently. I'll say it.
Yeah. You're not wrong, he's not wrong.
But he was wrong about his best buddies, but he was right about Punk.
and but the thing is, what screwed up that promo for me was two things. His line, "Because I am a man."
Yeah, that's
it's like Andy Samberg from Lonely Island, and I threw it on the ground.
Yes.
I'm an adult.
Yeah.
And that's there's
my dad. That's a cell phone. Anyway, no, sorry. It was going good
on the ground.
Again, just a little extra couple hours of workshopping, but still, it didn't ruin it. But I'm like, ooh, that doesn't fit. Anyway, let's get back into it. Everybody, back in.
Yeah. And here's the second thing that kind of like lost me on Adam Page is that he cuts the biggest promo of his life. He gets that line, the thing I should never have let slip away.
Yeah.
And what does Toronto do? Cheer for MJF the entire fucking time. The entire time.
They did just notice him, but I'm like, that Toronto's like, hey, whatever you're doing in the ring is great, but guys over here in the skybox or whatever, not skybox, in the box seats.
Yeah, the private box, yes.
Yeah, the private box, thank you. Yeah, it's not the Skydome, but the only thing it should ever be called.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Jose's not here, so it's not fun to go on about that. So.
And so the next, so you're listening to, for those of you listening right now live and on the stream later on, you're listening to the Ringside Heat post AEW Dynamite reaction and review here on all of our social media channels, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Twitter, and we're going to get into the Lionheart versus Chris Jericho, Chris Jericho versus Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon. And again, these two masters, absolute masters in the ring. We already talked about the entrance, and we already talked about how Toronto just loves Jericho no matter what, and will give Jericho his flowers no matter what. And here's the thing, AEW fan, the fans at AEW Dynamite tonight, consistent what they were doing with WWE. In this situation, we were turning into Bizarro World.
Well, and the best part is that it was being done with two of the best who will listen to a crowd and adapt accordingly. Mm-hmm. So, right away, pardon me, Brian started doing heel poses, a little bit heel move, heel like kind of situations. He was getting booed out of the building when he had, Jericho in the Lion Salt. or not the Lions. Yeah, Lion Tamer, sorry. And so he was getting booed right out of the building for that, but he was doing the arrogant, arm up flex while he had Jericho in the holds. I was able to see, the picture in picture thing that they do. So he was doing that all through the commercial break, and Jericho eating up the praise as he should. So you've got two people that are smart enough to do that. So yeah, it was absolutely fine. They knew exactly what town they were in. They've both been in this town many times.
I cheered
Yeah.
for Daniel Bryan when he was on his way up with the Yes movements here in 2013,
Yep.
and that was sweet, man.
Yep. But it's also just as fun to boo somebody out of the building too, because why not? I paid my ticket to be there. I'll boo or cheer whoever I want.
That's
And
true.
as a Torontonian, that's what I want to do, and so that's what I did, and that's what they all still did tonight. So I was very happy to see that.
Yep, and we have and we had the schmoz win here with Daniel Garcia turning on Bryan Danielson.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I still don't care about him, but yeah, sure.
I
He's
love
just somebody for Claudio to beat the crap out of, or Yuta to beat the crap out of. So
there it is. There it is. I love the code breaker out of nowhere. I
Yeah.
mean, like it was a little bit telegraphed, but it's Chris Jericho. I don't mind. He can.
We've been watching Chris Jericho for 30 years, so it was definitely telegraphed for us. So we
Yes,
knew the
exactly.
spot where it was going to show up. So we're a little bit skewed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, this is where he's going to do it. There it is. Oh, that's awesome. So
Yes.
yeah. I don't know if it's your first week of wrestling. Yeah.
Yep. The women's match today as well. Toni Storm and Hikaru Shida. A long time since I've seen Hikaru Shida wrestle, actually. And they took on Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Jamie Hayter. And these four women, they're like, this was the only women's match of the night, but they really did like it wasn't the longest match, but it was a well-paced match. It was a well-wrestled match. All four of these ladies did some great stuff.
Sheeta getting some chance. Toronto knows and loves Sheeta, so I was very excited about that because again, many of the wrestlers, but Lucha Brothers, for example, I did not know about them at all before AEW. They are pretty much my favorite new wrestling team, new wrestling personalities that I'm now a fan of, thanks to AEW. But at the same time, I was just as impressed with Hikaru Shida as well, because I did not know about her previously. And every match she does is fantastic. I was glad she was a champion. I was glad she was right in there on the ground floor going after the new title, right in there with Britt Baker as well. So I'd put her at a very close second under Britt Baker as part of, the faces or the most important of the women's division. So it was great to see her do that. She picked up the win. She got a pin. So that was fantastic. So, and it's always good to see Britt Baker. And Jamie Hayter, she was all over the place in a good way. Like, she would not stop moving. She was working the hardest in that match. So,
oh my gosh,
she's looking better and better as well.
I am such a fan of Jamie Hayter. I mean, like,
I'm starting to see why. Before, I'm like, okay, everybody likes Jamie Hayter, sure, all right.
And at first, at first, my eyebrows perked up because hello, Jamie Hayter. But at the same, but like, my gosh, she can work. She is a phenomenal. She's phenomenal.
Yeah. She was just she was everywhere. She was part of every spot. She was part of every pin interruption, everything. She was just bouncing all over the place. So yeah, she did great. This is I think for everybody properly paying attention, either the production or not production team, the match producers or anything like that. Whatever they're doing, it's working. Whatever she's doing, it's working. So yeah, she's well on her way.
And got some messages here from Chico. He's like, this is it's like very. He calls it a very good match between the women here, and it's let's see, it's a pretty good ROH World Championship match, storyline progression. That's the 9-punch and the Hurricane Rana from the Lionheart versus Dragon match. So that's something he likes. And he calls this the main event. This is what he said first. AEW program should feature AEW championships more as centerpieces than the ROH ones, but it is good for TK to put his original wrestling company title as the main event. And And it was the main event of Orange Cassidy and Pac for the All Atlantic,
Right.
I don't know my geography championship apparently, but but it was a phenomenal match.
That's
Chico says Orange Cassidy and Pac are magic together, and I believe
yes.
they are. They don't. It's not just their ring. It's not just their ring work that works so well together. It's their characters. They're perfect foils for each other.
Yeah, they are a really strong rivalry that I think we probably scratched the surface of, at least in terms of the last 3 years with AEW.
Mm-hmm.
They could have a whole long thing I don't even know about on the independent circuit and other companies, right? Again, my wrestling island is finally expanding, beyond WWE, but for the longest time, for sure, of course, and I'm proud of it. It was WWE only, and now thanks to AEW, I'm learning more and more.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so yeah, I think it was smart to have the title change, a title change as a main event. Doesn't have to be necessarily good or bad. Pardon me, good or bad. When I saw Jericho and Daniel going on so early, I thought, wait, this isn't an Iron Man match or anything. Did I miss something? Because I thought
Mm-hmm.
it was really early.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we saw the end. I'm like, okay, do not put that as your main event. That makes complete sense. And also, yes, to Chico's point, it's not an AEW title, so why should it be a main event? Another good point.
Mm-hmm.
Especially on a big show debuting in a new country, new city. So you want to keep it to that. So it made perfect sense to do that. And even if Orange didn't win, I think it was still because of what we saw happen in this match. And a nice little cameo from Danhausen.
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh!
That's so good.
Toronto loves Danhausen. It's like the pop that like Danhausen got the pop today. That
Yeah.
like that like fifth like the 15 American cities that they circulate around haven't given him. Like
Yeah.
like he got the combined pop of 15 American cities right now
Oh,
from
totally. Yeah.
Toronto.
Yeah. Well, I mean, his wife is Canadian, so he knows. He knows what he's doing.
Oh,
So,
of course, but like but like the amazing like that pop, like there are certain pops in my life that like that like really exemplify Toronto, like
yeah.
in terms of competitive sports. The Joe Carter home run
Yeah.
in 1993, the Jose Batista home run in 2015, the Encarnacion home run in 2016, the Kawhi Leonard shot
Yeah.
in 2016 or in 2019 rather, like that, the NBA championship, and we had like Edge when he comes back,
Yeah.
and Bryan Daniel Bryan when he when we were cheering him because he was awesome, and hearing Orange Cassidy get that pop and Danhausen get that pop tonight. It was great. It was like,
Yeah. And FTR. I mean, that was at least that's how it came across on TV. I don't know, of course, wasn't there, but that was a big pop. Like it surprised me. Because it was FTR. It wasn't even a match. They were just coming out to help Ward Joe. Terrible name, but yeah.
I do like the fact that they called that out.
Yeah. It's just like, come on. But yeah, whatever. We get to see Samoa Joe. It's fine.
And Chico also adds that AEW's done what he didn't think they would do, make him regret not being there tonight.
There you go. Yeah. And even aside, that's what I was thinking too. It's like, okay, forget the whole professional wrestling versus sport entertainment, WWE versus AEW. This is a new company coming to Toronto for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And, like that's could end up being more historic than it just being on the list of, the first country they went to that wasn't the US, right? So, I mean, I think as a general wrestling fan, that's something you try to go to if you can afford it, of course, is, this is the first time. This could, I mean, I would like to know how many people, this was their first AEW show. Not only that they went to, obviously, because it was here, but that they even saw either on TV or in person. Right?
I'd probably say about 8,000 of that 11,000 in there.
Probably, yeah. So that's the kind of stat I would be interested in, is just to see, for how many people was this their first AEW experience at all? So
Hmm. And for those who who've never watched wrestling, and that's the thing, and that's the thing is that like some with WWE in the Vince McMahon era, he had a tendency to, when he needed to tell the story and end the show on a cliffhanger, or like on with the heel getting over, even if it is against the hometown person, even like he won't he like he wouldn't even let Rock win in Miami. But then again,
Yeah.
it was the undisputed championship. He couldn't take the belt off of Jericho or anything like that. Anyway, but
No.
anyway, but so I get that. But it's like he sends you home happy after the cameras go off the air,
That's right.
basically. But in this moment, with Orange Cassidy finally winning something, winning the gold, and that's the thing, and that's the thing. You were saying if Orange Cassidy lost, then it would be okay, because it was like okay, it was a great product, a great night. Anyway, for me,
Right.
if Orange Cassidy lost in Toronto, I would have been greatly disappointed, because he's got so much. He's got so much. Like everybody is in on this guy,
Yeah.
almost as like at this. I think MJF and Orange Cassidy, they have the fans bought into them equally, yet differently.
Right. Right. Yeah. Okay. I see what you mean. Yeah. But I'm also the type, I can equally root for the bad guy or the bad ending almost just as much as the good ending
Mm-hmm.
if it's done well enough. Like I could,
Oh yeah.
like this was a fantastic match even if there wasn't a title involved. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was a fun match to watch. Pac is always fun to watch. So is Orange Cassidy. The way Pac sells anytime he's dropped on his head, supposedly,
Yeah.
is just fantastic. He looks like his spine folds all the time, no matter what. It's a light slap. He's like, oh, his spine's broken again. Like it's fantastic the way he does that. So it is good to see anyway. But yeah, you're right. But I think it's important to note that because this was the first time in Toronto and in Canada, let's make sure people who are watching at home and people who are there have the same ending, and in this case, a happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to see the celebration, or at least the start of the celebration, on for people watching at home.
Mm-hmm. And so I'm really good to see some of the footage that the Toronto fans are going to be posting on social media about after the cameras go off the air at the Coca-Cola Coliseum,
Yeah,
and to see what transpired as Orange Cassidy was celebrating his first championship in AEW. And it makes, and yes, in hindsight, it does make sense that he would win his first championship now, and it's a mid Carter, because uh, uh, because he's a guy that kind of deserves to be in that crowd, in that pop. And I love that Chris Jericho gave him a title shot and everything, and like he had a great series of Chris Jericho during the Daily's Place era. But at the same time, I'm even gladder now that Orange Cassidy didn't win, because it gave him this moment. He got his flowers tonight.
well, I think a lot of those were even the test run, like because he did that with Kenny as well. He got a title shot with Kenny, and he got a title shot with Jericho, and so I think this was more just will can people even fathom that? Yeah, he could be the champion. It's like, okay, so he is solid with his fans and he's getting more attention and it's staying positive. Where yeah, we can see him being a champion. So I think that was a really good test of believability. That yeah, given the right circumstances, he can not only can he win, but he can be a champion that people want to see. And so now we get to see that. So
And I love how it flies in the face of a guy like Jim Cornette, who did not, or who abhors that character. And I remember seeing in the beginning of the show somebody holding up a gigantic Jim Cornette picture in the
that's
crowd.
right. Yeah.
And Orange Cassidy winning the championship tonight, and like proving how over uh, a contrarian character can be in wrestling to those
Yeah.
fans, as long as it's done right, as long as like people buy into it. That like Jim Cornette, respect him for everything he's done. He is an insider. He is somebody that he's somebody that has more wrestling knowledge, or has forgotten more about wrestling than I will ever know.
Oh yeah.
And But at the same time, to see it like to see his opinions being proven wrong is actually kind of fun.
Well, I mean, that's the great thing. It's where the gimmicks on paper that, of course, are not going to work, and they do. And you have to remember all these. Yeah, again, of course, Cornette, he knows a million things, and he should.
Mhm.
But don't you have people involved, and nothing will screw up a plan or what you think is going to happen than people. And
Yeah.
so people decide, yes, mankind should be champion, and that's what happens.
Mhm.
And destroys WCW in the process. But
Poke.
that's all it took. The original curse. Oh yeah, and of course, Orange Cassidy. It's how does that even work? How does Danhausen work?
Mm-hmm.
And it's right place, right time, right person.
Yep.
How does a zombie warlock work? Well, it did for 30 years. So
Yep.
yeah, but on paper, this is insanity, and it worked.
Mhm.
So that's the greatest stuff. Where and shockingly, on the flip side, Shockmaster did not work. So I don't, you just can never tell. Remember?
I remember.
Remember Shockmaster?
I remember. At least thanks to the WWE Network and YouTube, I remember the Shockmaster.
Yeah. Terrible thing that happened. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Just...
Oh yeah, Ringside Heat and New Stock Saga. Actually, we're not a New Stock Saga 960 right now. But
I don't know where we are, but it's
we're somewhere on the internet right now. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, we're on Twitter, and we're on Facebook. This is the Ringside Heat post Dynamite review and reaction. Here with Colin Dodge, you can follow him at Risen72. He is a charity Twitch streamer, streaming for Sick Kids and Extra Life. They're great organizations, and they need your help. They always need your help to take care of kids and give kids that second life, that second chance. Colin is Colin is here today because of the care that he got at Sick Kids. So it's a great cause. Please, please, if you got some kindness and you got a couple of extra dollars, donate to Sick Kids, Extra Life, and also tune into his streams on Risen72 on his Twitch and on his YouTube. Colin, thank you so much for doing this little review here with me.
Oh, you're very welcome. And if I may, just in terms of my charity streams, November 4th weekend coming up is my big 24-hour marathon. I'll break it up over the weekend probably, but I've got a lot planned, and I'm trying to hit my $500 goal. So I'm over 200 already, but
Awesome.
That's coming up. So yeah, Risen72 on Twitter, and watch me on Twitch. You'll find all the information on there. Instagram as well. All I do is post links about that kind of stuff and retweet about all that stuff, and of course Ringside Heat. So but yeah, follow me there for all that information. I've got a lot planned for that weekend in particular. So, and I'm also streaming now. So not right this second, obviously, but
and you're also listening. And yes, and speaking of Ringside Heat, where you can listen to us, where you can follow us, at facebook.com/group/ringside heat. You can also watch us you can also listen to us live on the radio on AM 960 and Saga 960 AM on Saturdays. At the moment, Saturdays at 9 or 10 a.m., 10 p.m. rather, depending on the coverage of the Mississauga Steelheads and Raptors 905. But again, starting October the 23rd, we will be on consistently Sundays at 6 p.m. That's starting Sunday, October the 23rd. And we might even be able to go live to air as well. That's something that we will work out with Saga 960 and figure out how this is all going to work. But we're
growing. We're getting better.
Yep, we have some surprises as well that I believe that you will definitely want to be tuning in for our season premiere of the new and improved and revamped Ringside Heat. My name is Lex Tan, and you can follow me at Lex Tan Media on Instagram and Twitter, and also on Facebook. Just look up Lex Tan. You know, it's the face, it's the glasses, it's the bald head. It's all there on the. It's like a lighthouse. Anyway, and you can find me, interact with me, tell me that I'm doing it. Tell me that I'm doing a great job. Tell me I'm doing a terrible job as well too.
No, don't agree with Jose. He's doing a great job.
And you can follow the rest of the ring crew: Jose at Tabuada93, at JAT_93, Chico Nougat at Coco Collects, at John Dawson Music, John Dawson at John Dawson Music. That's the Ringside Heat ring crew, and we are out for the evening. Thank you so much for tuning in live as well as on the streams on demand wherever you are, on Twitter, on Twitch, on Facebook, and on and on YouTube as well. So thank you so much for tuning in. This is Lex Tan, and this is Ringside Heat. We are the new law in this town.